All right. What do you guys say? It's a Tuesday night live. What are we doing here? Are we going to turn up or what? Markets are back down. XRP's back down, but we're going to turn up. What do you guys say? Really appreciate everybody for stopping by. This is going to be a fantastic session where we're going to remind everyone what fundamentals are. And as I get started here, I want to ask a question, set the mood, because I already know what's going to happen here. We've been getting the worst negative sentiment in the XRP community as of late, right? Every video is just lit up. Folks saying XRP is not going to hit $1, not going to hit all-time high, XRP is a poop coin. I just am asking to please explain with fundamentals why XRP won't hit $1 this bull run, why XRP won't go past its all-time high this bull run. Can you answer the question with fundamentals, or do you only have recency bias and you can only look at what's right in front of you and what's happened directly here recently as of late, right? Can you answer the question with fundamentals why XRP won't at least go to all-time high or maybe even a little bit past that, right? We're not talking about crazy 3, 4, 5 digits. It's not crazy talk. I'm just asking with fundamentals, can you explain it? And most folks can't. And so I just want to set the mood with that, reminding everybody what the fundamentals are in this space. With an XRP ledger that's getting a massive amount of utility right now. The fundamentals only continue to get better. Today's price action, an opportunity for those who have faith, conviction, and can understand the fundamentals, can do some research, can not forget what we've already uncovered and verify, right? And question our thesis. I'm all here for questioning our investment thesis on XRP and more, right? And what did I do today? What did many in our community do with the little spare change that we got left? As I understand, times are tough, but we scooped the hell out of that dip. You bet we did. And we picked it up at 58 cents. It's been a while since I bought some XRP, but I scooped it up today because I just continue to go back to, well, what are the fundamentals? You have folks that want to use a market cap calculation to limit how high XRP can go when no one can reasonably explain the fundamental reasons why these companies are trading at the prices and the market cap valuations they are in the stock market, where market cap comes from, right? No one can justify these 100 price to earning valuations on these companies, right? And the absurdity that's been taking place in the equities market, from a fundamental basis, no one can justify that. And it's not even the right math when we go over to solve a liquidity value equation. Completely different from market cap. We got to step our game up a little bit, get caught up to speed, and change the variables on our equation. Okay? And so in today's session, we're going to go through it as we always do, current events, financial markets, and then we're going to get into cryptocurrency. And we're going to show you guys, memes are still rolling. Memes had a good time until this correction comes through that we warned everybody about. And now we're seeing all of those alts bleed deeply bleed in the meme coins and the party ends, right? And we've been bringing it back to fundamentals, trying to remind folks that this ledger's finally getting utility, and the caliber of people that want to build on this, that are coming to the XRP ledger, as far as institutions, enterprises, and even just sophisticated retail, sophisticated Joe Blows like us, right? That are coming in to make serious investments in the XRP ledger ecosystem, right? We continue to see a different caliber over here. And it's so funny because we see projects, they're going multi-chain now. And that's a great approach, right? I understand why companies are going multi-chain. They're trying to get more money. I get it, right? But what I laugh about is in the XRP ledger ecosystem, why these folks and sometimes these builders, God bless our builders, but sometimes they just can't wrap their mind around why we don't want to trade our reserve currency for their crap. See, a lot of this is crap. I'm sorry. It's, do I want to trade my reserve currency of the new financial system for your crap? No, I don't. So go to Solana. Go to some other joke. Go play around with the kids. We're not going to trade it. We're not going to. We understand the fundamental value. This is a different game. In fact, it's not a game at all. While everybody's playing around with Mickey Mouse meme coins, we're building a new financial system. And you can really tell a lot of people come and go from XRP, a lot of fair weather fans. And when XRP's hot, the space doesn't know what to do with themselves. You guys haven't seen nothing yet. I wasn't in XRP during the 2017-2018 bull run. That's when I was just getting into crypto. I learned about crypto that cycle around the top when it was really getting hot. And then I started investing in 2018. Didn't learn about XRP seriously till the end of 2018, started rolling everything into XRP by 2019. Literally investing every last dollar I had. And now here we are in 2024. Think of how much different the fundamentals are from 2018, 2019 to 2024. When I was going all in and I was FOMOing in and I was literally every last dollar into XRP. And here we are. The fundamentals have grown exponentially and we're still buying at 58 cents today. Thank you very much. I will take advantage of that opportunity. And it reminds me of what we learned up in Vancouver Resource Investment Conference, my good friend Rick Rule, saying that out of the 10 companies that were 10 beggars for Ross Beatty investments, making 10x returns on companies with Ross Beatty, an absolute legend in the commodity space, every single one of those positions, he wrote down 50% before he made the profit. Now, I haven't even the only time that I wrote XRP down 50% on my investment would have been during the March 2020 crash. And it went pretty low during the lawsuit, but I was buying sub 20 cents when it did at that time, right? During March 2020, I didn't buy at 10 cents because I was waiting for it to go to 5 cents. See, I'm not waiting around this time around. I bought today at 58 cents, even though I think we still bleed out further. Now, did anybody want to hear that? No. Nobody wants to hear it until it comes through and then you're liquidated. And you're thinking, oh, crap. Maybe I shouldn't have been just plugged into Moon Boy talk, even though I get called a Moon Boy. So that's why I titled this session, XRP Comes Back Down. I'm going to explain what's taking place in this broader market, and then we're going to talk XRP fundamentals as we always do, and it just keeps on getting better and better. And thank you very much. I'm going to scoop 58 cent XRP. Give me that 2-for-1 special, guys. It's not going to last long. You know how many other people have the same mentality as I do? I see it in my community every single day. And so it's not going to last for long. You have to remember the March 2020 crash that we had, that V-shaped recovery came in aggressively for cryptocurrency. That's the good news. We ripped the Band-Aid off. When you have 100x leverage in our cryptocurrency space, as far as trading goes, you get liquidated and this thing moves quickly. And I call them market maker magicians. And we've seen them go bust in this whole process over the last couple of years, from FTX to now CZ. And then we got an instance that just occurred on BitMEX yesterday or a couple of days ago. I'll show you that one. One whale crashing an exchange. One Bitcoin whale crashing an exchange. If you didn't realize how fake and how thin these order books are and how these exchanges are not your friend, you need to learn it as we enter into this bull run, right? Although we're getting a little pullback right now, please remember that we are in the early beginnings of this bull run. This is nowhere near close to being done. Okay, we're most likely going to top out this cycle next year. And please remember how quickly crypto recovers. We ripped the Band-Aid off and then we started to come back. And that's exactly what Bitcoin did. It went down 70% from peak to trough during the last before the last halving, right? I had a pre-halving pump back up to 14,000. The halving got priced in a couple months before the halving actually took place. And same thing that's taking place right now. And then March 2020, and it was 60% in 1 month. But from there, it bounced up very aggressively. And so I learned my lesson in March of 2020 when XRP was at 10 cents. I thought the world was coming to an end like everybody else. And I also was being a little bit greedy and I wanted to buy at 5 cents. Oh, 10 cents looks great, but I mean, this is the end of the world. I'm going to buy at 5 cents. I'm doing my little calculations on my little calculator with my little bag. And then it comes and it goes and we never come back there again. Now, this time around for XRP, watch this thing closely, because although it's taking hits with the rest of the cryptocurrency space, I'm telling you, these dips are going to get absolutely bought up. There's still a lot of money that wants exposure to XRP. There's still a lot of money that needs to find real value. You ready to have that conversation? Mickey Mouse meme coin, Solana. Oh, the Solana ecosystem breaking records for daily volume on their decks. That's fantastic. I love to see it. Am I a little bit jealous? Well, yeah, no, sure. It's good to see, right? Will it last? That's my question. How long can you keep the hype going on meme coins that have no intrinsic value? And we're going to talk about intrinsic value later in this episode as well. Intrinsic, fundamental value versus hype. And that's what I kept on reiterating this whole run up to new all-time highs, 73,000. Can you justify the valuation on your stock, on your crypto, on the position that you have right now? Can you justify it? Well, we're going back down to fair market value right now, aren't we? Now, folks, without further ado, I wanted to set the mood with a little, excitement, set the tone, and remind folks that we're not going anywhere. I've been making content for the last 2 years during the bear market, during this run-up, and during this run-up, what have we been doing? It's a thankless job. Only the real ones can appreciate it. When you can remain incredibly bullish long-term, but you can continuously call out these bull trap pump and dumps that absolutely wreck people based off of narratives that we can see a mile away. When it was the Bitcoin spot ETF up to 49,000, back down to 38.5. New all-time highs up to 73,000. Wow, I was wrong. Bitcoin went higher than I thought it would. We made money. What did we warn about? Bull trap rally into CPI release. Last week, that's exactly what happened. It extended one day after the CPI release, and then we dumped. And how far have we gone now? 16%. It's a thankless job because nobody wants to hear it. And then by the time it actually happens, folks are upset, and they don't even want to give you credit for calling it. 16%. Now, just last weekend with my Discord group, though, we talked about the technical analysis about how these 20% pullbacks have been business as usual for Bitcoin specifically, and that the altcoins were going to do worse. Now, Bitcoin, I was talking about a target around 62,000. Next one for me is about 58,000. Okay. Well, we went down to it. We did it. Here we go. 61.5. Watch for a little bit of support here to potentially build. The next stop's 58 if we continue lower. I'm not ruling out a March 2020 simulation, but this was my conservative thesis. My conservative thesis was, maybe even a 20% pullback down to 58. Like I said, wouldn't be out of the norm at all. And although a 20% move is a technical bear market for the stock market, 20%, I don't think that we can use that same metric for the cryptocurrency space when we've seen 20% pullbacks all the way that Bitcoin's gone up about 370%, I believe, total. Almost 400% this run. Incredible strength in Bitcoin. I've been wrong on how far high it went up, but we've been warning about these moves right here. And that's why it was easy to deploy the capital today, because we had it sitting on the sidelines. That's the good thing about being prepared for these pullbacks, is you got the capital on the sidelines and you can just snipe the deals when they come through. 3,200 for your Ethereum. Okay. And it's pretty crazy. This thing went all the way up past 4,000 here for quite a few days. Incredible. Back down to 3,200 for ETH. We'll watch it. Looking for ETH to hold this level, maybe 3,000. Big support. We'll watch it. XRP. Back down below 58 cents briefly. Couple taps below 58 here today. Okay. Back up to 59. And thankful for the opportunity to swoop at 58 today. That was nice. I'll take advantage of that. And I think that XRP gave us a glimpse of what's coming this bull run right here. This move. This is what I mean. When XRP goes, the space ain't ready. There's a reason why I use the term melt faces. It's not to be, it's kind of a joke, but it's literally folks don't know what to do. You got O face looking at your phone. Oh crap, that here it goes. And you're trying to buy and the exchange isn't working. Or you're trying to sell and the exchange isn't working. I hope that you guys got your plan ready to go, because XRP is showing you how violent this thing will move when it is time to go. 30% in 24 hours is what it did in this stint right here. Incredible. Much more of that on the way. Hang tight. Back down to 12 cents for XLM. Okay. Flare back down to 3 cents. this one was getting me excited. Definitely, I definitely got excited about Flare. And the fundamentals for Flare are still really solid. Still really am impressed with this ecosystem right now. Okay. XDC doing something crazy too. It's crazy how these coins do this. They didn't do it on the exact same day. XDC didn't do it on the exact same day as XRP and Flare, but both Flare, XRP, XDC, all having these massive pumps. So I think that these coins are giving you a glimpse at what's coming this bull run. For Algorand, it got up above 33 cents there, a couple taps, basically 3 taps on 33 cents. That sounds about right. Stronghold, okay, battling here. Chopping. We'll continue to watch it. Solana, back above 200. They really pumped this sucker. Tell you what, the previous all-time high for Solana. Let me zoom out here and I'll adjust my chart. Let's go back. We'll go weekly and we're going to adjust our charts here. And we'll take a little look at this. This thing almost pushed back up to a new all-time high for Solana right here. You can see what I'm talking about. So this was in November of 21 when Solana went up to 260. That's right. Yeah, so 260 is the previous all-time high for Solana. And we're back down to 174 right now after just going up above 200 for a brief moment in time. Okay. We'll continue to watch that one, folks. Now, let's. This is an interesting move that happened here today. We had the DXY was back up. Cryptos were down and stocks were actually back up. Take a look at this one right here. This would be your DXY. Okay. I like to show the indices on these stocks a little bit more zoomed out, get a little bit more perspective here. Okay, we're still a long ways off the high and even the most recent high at the end of last year. Okay, because then this is when the bond market started pricing in rate cuts mistakenly, and you can see that on the bond chart as well. S&P 500 actually, like I said, the stocks were all back up here today. And the stocks were up massively today, and they're almost near all-time highs for the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, and the NASDAQ 100 pushed up today as well as the Russell 2000. Russell 2000 still a long ways. New highs have not been set for the Russell 2000 in the small caps. See, it's all been in the top ones, right? S&P 500 has set a new all-time high, right? The smaller companies, no. Russell 2000 has not. Okay, so I just continuing to watch those more macro right there, and then like I said, your 10-year ticking back up. This is after we saw mortgage rates finally came back below 7% once again, but now they're going to be back on their way up here shortly. They actually already started on their way back up. Okay. Additional real estate updates going to be coming later this week because we got home builder confidence back up yesterday, and then we got new home starts and permits today, but I'm going to do that in a separate video. Your 2 years back up as well. Okay. Yeah, so we'll continue to watch that, folks. Let's get right on into it. We got a lot to cover here tonight. Just want to say thank you for everyone who stopped by. I saw that we got a super chat earlier. I don't want to miss that. Shane, I appreciate the 589, brother. Got the wine. That's good, man. I got a cold one. Let's rock and roll. What do you guys say? We got a lot to cover, so I'm going to move quickly. Evergrande. China has accused Evergrande of committing fraud totaling $78 billion, making it the largest case of financial fraud in history, dwarfing that of Enron, WorldCom, FTX, and even surpassing Bernie Madoff's $68 billion Ponzi. You already know the deal. I retweeted this out and I said, just wait till you hear about ETHgate. You think that $78 billion is the biggest fraud ever committed? We got to tell you about this little ETHgate story. More on that later. What we are seeing, though, is China is reporting that their treasuries have fell to $797 billion in January to $816.3 billion in December. China holdings fell by nearly $19 billion. At the same time, they have been reporting about 16 months of positive gold buying. Like I said, this is not a game. While we're trying to trade Mickey Mouse coins and make a little pump, These countries are trying to save themselves a debt, currency, liquidity crisis, and it includes a kinetic war, World War III taking place as well. Internal chaos in the United States only set to pick up even more. Let's continue. Texas pulls $8.5 billion from BlackRock over ESG policies from Mario Nafal. Texas Permanent School Fund. BlackRock's dominant and persistent leadership in the ESG movement immeasurably damages our state's oil and gas economy and the very companies that generate revenues for our PSF. As the Permanent School Fund, and this is what's so crazy about BlackRock, guys, is they have so many pensions, so many state funds, Permanent School Fund, teachers funds, right? They are the largest asset manager in the world. And now you're starting to see some folks finally get it, and they're pulling their money out. They're saying, we're not going to play ball. The PSF will not stand idle as our financial future is attacked by Wall Street. And the problem that so many of us have, right, is let's just apply common sense before, we all got to turn in our vehicles. Are we limited to how many children we can have? Did I have too many? Should we stop, right? I mean, how far are we going to go with this? Meanwhile, we have environmental disasters that are actually taking place that we don't address, right? Like real stuff versus like my diesel truck is the devil, right? It's insanity. It's just, let's apply common sense, do renewables work to some extent. And what you're seeing with the ESG is it's just gone too far. So that pendulum swinging back, and in the form of Texas pulling money out of BlackRock, as I've been saying, these asset managers, it's a real war right now over who can keep the assets under management. This is why they're trying to offer Bitcoin spot ETF. This is why they're now going to bring more crypto ETFs, is because folks want exposure to crypto. Folks want exposure to crypto, and they don't want to be invested in a company that goes too silly, just to put it simply. Now, speaking of silliness, on the same day the SEC enforcement attorneys were sanctioned by a judge for abuse of power and misleading the court, Chair Gensler requested a huge increase in funding from the Financial Services GOP. Even worse, they are claiming the commission is deficit neutral despite a $50 million shortfall last year. So Tom Emmer's saying no. It's not enough to say no and to put out a tweet. We are so far past the point of issuing the subpoena on Gary Gensler and potentially more, right, from the SEC. We need answers, and we need to stop the process of, regulatory capture, okay, before you've been given any sort of clarity, and before you continue this thing out in the courts where you are getting caught for lying, fraud, just the worst that, any attorney, behaving in a U.S. court is now being sanctioned here, and it's our SEC. And now the taxpayers are going to have to foot the bill for covering the cost of the debt box company's legal fees. On top of that, I mean, what's to say that debt box shouldn't turn around and sue them even further for additional damages, right? Not only the legal fees that they paid, is there more damages? And this is what we've been talking about with ETHgate, haven't we? The damages done to the XRP community, the profit made from the ETH free pass and the insiders. And then the third point on ETHgate is the broader corruption of our capital markets. And you can't just say that we're crazy, lunatic, whack job conspiracy theorists when the SEC is getting sanctioned in court. In the US courts right now, the SEC is getting smacked down by anybody who has the you-know-what to stand up, just like Ripple did, just like the XRP community did. And we have been having an impact, despite what some of the folks want to say, that we're not accomplishing anything, that we're just playing around. Why do we keep bringing up ETHgate? Because we're having victories on the legal battlefield, and we want to save our country. I don't know about you, right? I want opportunity for my children on a level playing field. Okay, so this is why we're not done. This is why we won't be done even after you've seen XRP has clarity. We're still not done. Even after the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit concludes, we're still not going to be done because there was damages done. There was profit made. We got to bring accountability. And then the third point, right, is the broader corruption of our capital markets expanding out further than crypto. And if you're not in the United States of America thinking that this doesn't occur in your country, you would be sadly mistaken. We're in a race right now for who can have the gold standard of corruption in their capital markets. Okay? We're going to continue to put up this fight, though, and we'll watch the Congress talking tough. We'll see if they're ever going to get anything done here. It's just absolutely ridiculous here in the United States of America. But remember that we're having an impact. Let's keep applying pressure respectfully. Respectfully. If you haven't understood, though, how thin and fake these order books are, take a look at this example right here, folks. This is one person, one Bitcoin whale, dumping 400 Bitcoin over 2 hours in 10 to 50 BTC clips on the XBT USDT pair on BitMEX, eating 30% slippage. They must have lost about $4 million. So this is one whale dumping Bitcoin on BitMEX, and that is the exchange where the price for Bitcoin crashed all the way back down below $10,000. So depending on which exchange you are pulling your data from, we can say that Bitcoin just had a pullback to $10,000, right? And this is on BitMEX, okay? The reason why I'm sharing this with you guys is to reiterate the point how thin, how fake, how these exchanges are not your friend. They're spoofing a lot of the trading that's taking place, especially with the futures markets, even more leveraged, even more fake, even more manipulated. I've been wrecked many times trading futures because these exchanges are not their own order books, right, are jacked up, they're manipulated, whatever you want to call it. And I've had this happen a few times to me while trading futures on, I'm not going to name the exchange, but you know, this is very common in the future space, especially when you're using more leverage, right? Where the price trading on one exchange is a lot different than other exchanges. In fact, we saw just when XRP pumped up to about 74 cents, remember, it went up to like 78 cents on Coinbase. It was pushing up towards like 80 cents. Remember that? And so that was just the one glimpse right there on Coinbase with the XRP going up. Now, one dude shows up to BitMEX and he's dumping 400 Bitcoin over 2 hours in 10 to 50 round clips. I like how that sounds. 10 to 50 round, yeah, I like that. The 50 clips of Bitcoin. And I mean, that's really not even that much, but it shows you how thin these order books are. And that drugged that exchange price down all the way to 10,000. So remember that these exchanges are not your friend, and set your orders well in advance if possible, right? Now, normally they only let you set your orders in a range, right, based off of today's price. And they're not going to let you, set a sell order for XRP at 589 because we're nowhere even close to 589. I'm talking, nowhere even near, $10. They won't even let you set an order at $10. Some exchanges will. But this is why we talk about having multiple options, and this is why we talk about getting familiar with the DEX, the decentralized exchange, right? And we're going to be having a special class on the DEX in my Discord group coming up here soon. If you guys are looking to get tapped in with our Discord group, you sign up through Patreon to get access to Discord. Everything can be found on my website, zachrector.com. But we're going to be talking about the DEX here. We've already had a couple sessions. We got more on the way, not only because we're getting to AMM, but because we want to be able to lock in profits. Even if you can't cash out from the DEX, there are some solutions that are coming to the DEX that allow you to cash out, like Topper, which is a product of Uphold, now tapped into the DEX on the XRP ledger, right? But you're going to see more opportunities to be able to cash out. But for the meantime, just being able to move your XRP to a stable coin during that volatility and being able to lock in your profits and then figuring out how to cash out from there if you were going to, right? But for me, the investments that I have that are going to stay in crypto, I don't need to worry about cashing out. So this is where a solution like the DEX comes into play. The problem is, as you saw in this instance, this dude was eating 30% slippage. He was just offloading. He wanted out, and he timed it pretty dang good. I mean, he's gotten out here pretty well. Okay. Now, speaking on other issues in the cryptocurrency space, Solana, go figure. Solana has reached its operational limit. This one's from Rec Builder. Don't take it from me. This one's from Rec Builder, someone who's using the Solana network. They can't fit all the transactions into blocks fast enough. DEX orders slip, timeout, get sequencing errors, etc. That's all there is to it. They're too proud to admit it, but they kind of did. Moving on from this topic now. And, I don't know if this dude's just trying to FUD this, but we have continued to see Solana go down time and time again. And as this DEX volume has picked up, we are seeing some instances of the DEX having some issues, right? And this is the problem that we've been, keep on bringing up with Solana. This is fantastic, the growth that they've had in their ecosystem. Will it last? Can the ledger even sustain it? Which you don't even want that to be a question, right? You don't even want that to be a question whether or not the ledger will work. And that question, that really has been solved over in the XRP ledger with the 10 years plus of uptime. Almost no issues. Literally almost no blemishes on the XRP ledger record. Just, nearly 100% uptime, no issues. There was one issue back in the day when like all of the servers were at Jed McCaleb's house or something like that. Like that's the one of the first issues that the XRP ledger's ever had. The first and only issue the XRP ledger's ever had was when it was all being ran by Jed McCaleb. Go figure. And I don't know if that's the true story, but I mean, it was literally back when it was like Jed, Arthur, and David. And, we still have those missing blocks on the XRP ledger. That's a fact. That's the only blemish that we have. And sure enough, who was involved? Who was there? Little Jed, sneaky Jed. I'll just leave it at that. Okay. But nonetheless, other than that, our ledger's been operating flawlessly. And now we're about to get an AMM, and I'm going to talk about that more later. Another ledger that's getting updated right now is the XLM Stellar Network. With smart contracts live, today we're thrilled to announce a major milestone on the Stellar mainnet journey. The training wheels are off, and all restriction limits have been lifted. This is on XLM Stellar Network, and the Sora Bond smart contracts is what we're working with right here. And they ask, what will you build? Well, we've already highlighted how now Stellar Network has the most total locked up value for real world assets on any ledger now, with over 400 million in their tokenized mutual fund offering, with Franklin Templeton. So we already got folks coming to the Stellar Network before they got smart contracts. Now we're going to see even more folks coming to Stellar. And this is why I keep on saying a lot of folks sleeping on Stellar. Very simply, I've been known to do it too. I still kind of do it. I don't give it as much attention as XRP, not even close. Because they're not out in the open. There's not as much community. It's not as big of a deal. They're not going after as big of problems as XRP. It doesn't turn me on as much as XRP, right? But nonetheless, you can't sleep on it completely because they got something cooking. Case in point, one asset manager. Please wrap your mind around this for 1 second. One asset manager deciding, and they didn't even ask Stellar. They didn't partner up with the Stellar Development Foundation. Franklin Templeton decided to use Stellar without the Stellar Development Foundation. One asset manager was able to come on and bring a tokenized real-world asset to the Stellar network, and that one asset manager brought Stellar up to having the most total value locked for real-world assets. One. Now, think of the XRP ledger in the 500 plus partnerships that Ripple has confirmed. One asset manager took Stellar up to having the total value locked up #1 spot for real world assets. One. See, we haven't seen any. This party's just getting started over here on the XRP ledger and on Stellar. Stellar going the path of bringing smart contracts to mainnet. It's going to be very interesting to watch that. And then for the XRP ledger, now we're finally getting an AMM. Stellar already had that. We're going to see we got hooks going to Zahao. We got Flare also building utility around the XRP ledger. We got the EVM sidechain. And we got this kind of hub and spoke model for the XRP ledger where we have smart contract platforms around us. We haven't brought smart contracts onto mainnet yet. That potential is always there, right? But for the meantime, I love to see the progress on both the XRP ledger and Stellar. Now, we get an update here in the SEC versus Ripple case just today, folks. The parties have filed a joint sealing proposal to govern sealing issues related to the upcoming remedies related briefing to be filed in this case. So basically, they want to make sure that redactions are in place when it comes time to issue this. Let me see if I can zoom in right there for you guys. See, this is the document here, okay? The proposal will ensure prompt public access to the parties' briefs as to which any proposed redactions are anticipated to be minimal, which is consistent with the strong presumption of public access. So basically, they want to make sure that they have a smooth, easy process that's going to be relatively swift to ensure prompt, right, redactions and moving on from this case. Let's wrap this thing up, please. So let's go through the timeline. Remember, March 22nd's the big date that we've been waiting for. Not only is the AMM going to be going live on the XRP ledger, not only are we looking at a potential government shutdown, not only is it International Water Day or something crazy like that too, but we also get the SEC filing its opening remedies related brief and supporting declarations and exhibits under seal. Oh, and don't let me forget that there's also like over $50 billion in short-term loans from the BTFP program that are due on March 22nd as well. So March 22nd is going to be a party. I hope you guys are ready for that. We'll probably be going live that day for sure. I'll see you guys there. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our updates, folks. March 25th is going to be the next one. Okay. Parties meet and confer to identity redactions sought by to identify redactions sought by each side and third parties, if any, to the brief and supporting materials. The SEC files a public redacted version of the brief, making only those provisional redactions requested by the parties and third parties, if any, during the meet and confer. So basically, submit it on 22nd, review for redactions on the 25th, and then file it publicly on the 26th with redactions. Continuing on, April 22nd is the next big day. Ripple responds. Okay. Ripple will also file on the public docket any supporting exhibits not designated by the SEC, Ripple, or any third party as confidential or highly confidential under the protective order. Okay. If, however, Ripple's opposition brief and supporting materials cite or include any materials designated by the SEC as confidential or highly confidential, then the brief and materials will be filed under seal on April 22nd. On April 23rd, the parties shall meet and confer to identify redactions sought by each side, yada, yada, yada. On April 24th, Ripple shall file public redacted versions. Yeah. So basically Ripple is giving themselves even a quicker turnaround, right? Basically 22nd, they file. If there is any redactions, they file, they meet on the 23rd, and then they file publicly on the 24th. If the SEC has no issues, it's filed publicly on the 22nd. They want to speed this process up. May 6th is the final date. The SEC files its reply brief under seal. Same thing. May 7th, they meet, go over redactions. May 8th, file it publicly. Everybody gets to view it, but there's going to be blacked out parts for sure. May 13th, parties and, they're going to continue to meet. And on the 20th, they meet again. And then under the joint proposal, the parties would be further required to file public redacted versions of all documents within 14 days of the court's rulings, on the omnibus sealing motions. So this is going into May for sure. Let's everybody just understand that. Where are we at on the XRP timeline? We are going into May. Okay, unless we get, by the grace of God, that settlement that comes in. But we've gone this far. Why would there be a settlement at this point, right? Unless they pull something out of hat. I'm not going to rule it out completely, but it seems highly unlikely. So we know this thing's going till May. And remember that this is the remedies briefings that they're filing. SEC, Ripple, SEC response. Then it goes to Judge Torres. The major ruling that's coming right now is did Ripple successfully change their contracts after the lawsuit was filed, which would remove all of the post-complaint sales, or they're already not included. But if the SEC makes their argument effectively, they're going to be able to include the post-complaint sales in the overall issue, the overall case. Right now, the number is 700 million, give or take. The amount of sales that Ripple conducted. Were all of those to U.S. investors? Are all of those going to be included in the number sought by Judge Torres? Is she going to sue them, make them pay that amount? No, John Deaton suspects that it's going to be less than the legal fees that Ripple has had to pay for this lawsuit. So we're talking less than $100 million probably, right? So, but what would make it bigger is if the SEC was able to make the case and Judge Torres were to agree that no, Ripple didn't successfully change their contracts after the lawsuit was filed. So for the last 3 years or so, all of those sales to institutions were investment contract securities offerings as well. That's over $3 billion worth of XRP that would then get tacked onto the 700 million. So, okay, is that going to up the fine significantly? I don't think that there's any chance that Ripple unsuccessfully changed their contracts after the lawsuit was filed. I 100% would bet everything that Judge Torres is going to rule that the post-complaint sales are not investment contracts. Will we get to see those investment contracts? What are we going to get out of this? Hopefully we can piece and read between the lines, and although names will be removed, hopefully we'll be able to read between the lines and kind of see the overall conversation, and hopefully we'll get some data, some evidence out of this that can kind of confirm and let us look behind the business of Ripple a little bit more, right? We all would love to see the internals of Ripple, right? We all would love to see that. And the FCC got to see the financial statements for 2023 and 2022, right? And they get to see, how much money have you guys made selling XRP after the lawsuit was filed? And the SEC wants to argue that all of those sales were investment contracts as well, because Ripple was only selling to institutional clients. But we believe that Ripple successfully changed those contracts after the lawsuit was filed, and those contracts will not be found to be investment contract securities offerings. I hope I didn't confuse that, too much for you guys. I've laid this out in many other videos as well, but I just, try to keep everybody kind of up to date on the facts, not FUD narratives, not confusing the facts, not folks still trying to say that XRP is a security, saying that XRP was sold as a security. No, XRP is never a security. It never exists as a security. What was a securities offering was the contract. That's it, not the underlying XRP. The contract was the investment contract securities offering. So just so we all understand that. And so let's set our expectations here, right? May 6th is when the SEC gets to file, and then they're going to have a couple days to go over redactions again. And so within May, we will have everything will be filed, and it will be off to Judge Torres. The legal experts and the lawyers, they say couple months, 2 to 4 months, we should get a response. I'm really hoping and praying that it's closer to 2 months, obviously, right? I would love if it was the week after, but I lean towards, and I'm 100% biased. I'm 100% biased. Let's be very clear. But I'm just looking at this thing like, this case is very simple. It's already very well laid out. All you're going to have to do is, look at a few of these contracts, and Ripple will be able to show you that, hey, we successfully changed these. There's no stipulations. There's no lockups. There's no expectations of anything. It's they gave us dollars, we gave them XRP, and that was the end of the deal. It was an agreed upon price in exchange. That was it. It was a bill of sale, essentially. That's all it was. And Judge Torres will be able to say, yep, nope, you guys are good to go. And the fine that you guys need to pay is, $20 million. Give the SEC $20 million and then, go about your business. And then Ripple will successfully know how they can distribute XRP to institutional investors without creating any problems for themselves. And this is when everybody can start to ring up the phone. And they will know for a fact that they are not going to get caught up in a lawsuit, because they're not going to be included in any sort of investment contract. There's not going to be any sort of problem, right? And worst case scenario, these guys have to go, hey, when you're selling to an institutional client, this amount, the way that these are structured, you need to register. You file a few forms. It's an easy process. That's the worst case scenario for Ripple right now. It's already been determined that XRP in and of itself is not a security, and the programmatic sales were not a security. So Ripple can start dumping on exchanges if they wanted to. If they wanted to, they could. Nothing's stopping them. But they have not started that process yet. Even after the July 13th ruling, and even after the interlocutory appeal and Judge Torres struck down the SEC, they still haven't started programmatic sales once again. They could. They haven't. And I don't believe that they will, because I believe that they're just going to look to offer this to institutional clients that are going to be, easy to deal with. And a lot of the transactions can happen OTC, where it's not being tracked. And I think that, Ripple likes that business model of being able to sell XRP And, they're doing so in a way where it's immediately being eaten up by folks that are using it for its utility, because then it doesn't have a negative price impact, right? There's no negative impact on price when they're selling over the counter to institutional clients. That's being picked up and put to work. It's not being dumped on retail. Retail doesn't have to come up with new money. And just like I showed you guys with Stellar, one asset manager decided to use Stellar, and now Stellar has the most total value locked up for any real world assets on all the blockchains. Simply because Franklin Templeton said, yeah, Stellar Network looks good for tokenizing mutual funds. Let's send it. Boom. And today, I didn't bring it up in this episode, but BlackRock did announce that they have a new fund that they are now offering. And I think that they did 100 billion. I don't know if it was 100 million or 100. Maybe it was just 100 million USDC. I don't think they did 100 billion. I think it was just 100. I think it was just 100 million. You guys can let me know in the comments down below, right? So they are coming in. And we're going to see, not only will this set precedent, see, everybody else is going to be asking, well, Ripple, how'd you do it? How did you structure your contract in a way that it wasn't an investment contract? Everybody but Ethereum. Even though Ethereum, they sold off their Ethereum in an investment contract in their ICO, they got the free pass. So they don't need to ask Ripple, how do you do it? Right? But everybody else is going to be going to Ripple, and they'll be able to know for a fact, we're not buying a security. The SEC is not going to be involved in this transaction. We are buying a currency. We are buying a currency with value. And oh, by the way, if you want to use an exchange that is sanctioned by the Department of Treasury here in the United States of America, you can now do that, folks. Check this one out from Wrath of Kahneman, and the original find was from Cashta right here. So this is Atlantis Exchange right here, folks. In a significant development for cryptocurrency markets, XRP has commenced trading on Atlantis Exchange, a crypto trading platform registered by the U.S. Department of Treasury. You don't say. It's always nice, when the Treasury Department's just one phone call away and you got the 43rd Treasurer of the United States of America on your board of directors. That helps. The exchange made this announcement via a post on X. Yep, it's live. It's going. And they are sanctioned by the Department of Treasury, folks. Atlantis Exchange's registration with the U.S. Department of Treasury in the United States and the United Nations. Oh, wow. U.S. Department of Treasury and the United Nations adds a layer of credibility to the platform. This regulatory compliance is a key factor for traders and investors when choosing an exchange. How about that one, folks? XRP is now trading on the U.S. Treasury approved Atlantis crypto platform. Thank you, Kashta, for sharing that one. How about that? How about this one? How about this one? Digital asset investor going way back. Let's take a sip of our adult beverage. God bless him. Him and Brad Kimes. God bless both these gentlemen. You guys get your tickets for XRP Vegas yet? What do you guys say? Brito. This would be Arthur Brito, right? From 2013. The wiki has old stuff, current stuff, future stuff, and mistakes. I believe Ripple will eventually support bonds and bond markets. This is the co-founder of Ripple, one of the three creators of the XRP ledger, Arthur Brito, the one who hides behind anonymity, right? We never get to see Arthur Brito. Always been in the shadows. Also went in there on PolySign as well, right? We've been watching that one. But this is a quote from 2013. I believe Ripple will eventually support bonds and bond markets. Now, this is a response from DAI to Brad Kimes, responding to Ripple's post here just 2 days ago. The people sitting on stage with Monica Long, the president of Ripple, right, are a new type of bank built on U.S. Treasury bills to unlock yield, safety, and scale. Well, what do we have here, folks? This is Monica Long sitting here with the newcomer banking. This is at the Newcomer Banking Summit in San Francisco last week with a couple other folks, right? CNBC showed up to discuss what's changed since the Silicon Valley banking crisis a year later and how blockchain and crypto can fundamentally improve access to financial services in partnerships with banks and traditional institutions. So what we're talking about right here is this team Geico. Okay, we're a new type of bank that innovates U.S. Treasury bills to unlock yield, safety, and scale for your business, for yourself, and for your customers. Now, they're almost to 589 followers. Maybe I'm going to follow them just so I can follow with that journey right there, okay? But, you know, we see here that this ledger is now ready for it's ready for bonds, it's ready for equities, and now we're going to build out that liquidity as well. We are waiting for more stable coins to come on here, more currencies, and now we have Monica Long sitting here with a little fireside chat with this new bank right here, talking about how they're going to leverage T-bills for safety, yield, and scale. And even back in 2013, we had Arthur Britta right here saying that the XRP ledger was going to be ready to support bonds and bond markets. And he's saying Ripple. It's hard to tell back then the context, because back then everybody called the XRP ledger the Ripple network. Everybody called XRP Ripple. Right? There was so much confusion, and everybody, even within Ripple and the team, they'd call it Ripple even when they were talking about the XRP ledger. And that's what we're looking at right here. Okay. Now, continuing on, let's talk about intrinsic value. Let's talk about real value coming on here. And let's talk about what Corey Johnson believes. He says, I believe Ripple is going to be able to demonstrate an intrinsic value for XRP. Well, you don't say. Let's listen in on this one.
I saw that, what is, and I'm a Buffett guy, right? I'm a what's the intrinsic value? What's the thing actually worth? The currency notion, gold always seemed like a ridiculous investment to me, right? Because it only has value because someone else has value. It's a greater fool theory notion, right? But the intrinsic value in these coins or in these assets isn't there. Right? It's just hoping someone else is going to find it there. Maybe it's a better way to use security. Maybe it's a better way to use technology. But what I saw in Ripple was something different than what I see in some of these other ones, and certainly a lot of these ICOs, is that the activities of the software company create value in the asset, an underlying intrinsic value. Now, the volatility of these things is because they're trading and because they're tradable assets, and certainly there's going to be volatility in the early days of any tradable asset, or extreme volatility. But I think one of the reasons you have that volatility is because no one's doing that. This is ultimately worth that. This is the price, or that is the price I'm willing to pay for this asset. And I think that over time we're going to see that. And I believe that Ripple is going to be able to demonstrate an intrinsic value for XRP that some of these sillier coins and assets don't have and won't have.
And Corey,
I saw that,
How about that, folks? You're talking about how Ripple is going to create an intrinsic value. Do you think that Ripple's here to create an intrinsic value for XRP to $1? $2, $3? Maybe they have, a goal to make XRP worth, at least $10 per coin. You think that they're here to move XRP to a few bucks when they talk about putting a dent in the universe, when they talk about being prepared for bonds and supporting bond markets? As we just talked about with the AMM a couple episodes ago about how our AMM is ready to handle foreign exchange volumes, $7 trillion daily. We talk about yields and risks, and you look, there's about 2 trillion that, is basically exposed to problems on a daily basis in the FX market. You're talking about a market that moves $7 trillion daily. We're talking about cross-border payments. Just SWIFT alone does 5 to 6 trillion daily. And so we've been focusing on the $1 trillion problems, and the intrinsic value comes from solving those $1 trillion problems. And so just like I said at the very beginning of this episode, I'm going to leave everybody with this question. Please explain to me with fundamentals why XRP is not going to go to an all-time high and $5, $10 this bull run. With fundamentals, explain and answer the question why XRP won't go to a new all-time high and maybe even more. Because folks want to comment, XRP's not going to go to $1. XRP's a poop coin. XRP's doing nothing. I'm mad at some other aspect of my life, and I want to blame XRP. I overinvested in XRP, and now that the coin's down short term, I want to get upset and throw a little tizzy. Please understand, and I say this with the most respect and the most sympathy for how tough it is out here. Please, I understand. I'm not here to knock folks that are just, we've been beat up. I get it. But there's a difference between being beat up a little bit and getting back up on your feet, right? And focusing on the fundamentals that are before you if you actually take the time to research. Or you can be a fair weather fan in the XRP community, and you can show up when the times are good. And then, it's funny. And I say this because I've seen this time and time again as someone who creates content. The amount of people that come into this community to use us in one way or another, whether that's they come in, and I've seen dudes do this time and time again where they're the biggest XRP guy. They use the XRP community to grow their audience. And because XRP content is the best, like it's just the best. I'm not saying that, obviously I'm biased, but I listen to Bitcoin bros. I listened to a Bitcoin bro copium space today as they're all trying to cope and cuddle and hold each other, right? I listened to this. I really think that we are delivering the best content because it's bigger than just XRP. It's bigger than just crypto. We're tapped in on another level. We're at a higher consciousness than trading meme coins and playing around. We want a new financial system. And I believe that this intrinsic value, this fundamental value, we're way past a few bucks. I think that Ripple's here to make this thing go way past just a few bucks. And they know that by encouraging development, by building out this ecosystem, building out a community, and getting more people here, that they won't be the only ones having to put in the effort. This is the beautiful thing about open source permissionless. We are watching Ripple put dents in the universe. Meanwhile, us Joe Blow can still leverage the XRP ledger, and we are finally getting the AMM, which is the most simple utility, and we're finally getting it where folks will be able to put their XRP to work. And for me, I was ready to establish relationships with whoever I had to, whether that be banks, other trust companies, even exchanges that were going to allow you to leverage, your digital assets. I was ready to use a third party to leverage my XRP, right? And I still am. I still will consider. I'm sure there will still be, some offers that I will consider. But I didn't, quite understand how the AMMs were going to work. And now that we've had time to look them up and understand what this really is, folks, this is being able to leverage your XRP in a decentralized way. This is true DeFi. This isn't just calling it DeFi because that's the hot term, right? This is actual DeFi that actually works, where you're not relying on a third party. The most that we're going to be relying on third parties is the Zaman wallet is now going to be upgrading. They just announced today that they're going to be upgrading with support for the AMM. So we're going to be relying on them. We're going to be relying on Orchestra Finance, Anados Finance. There's already a few platforms that are coming out. Crossmark Wallet, I'm sure, is already implementing as well. And so we're seeing different wallets and interfaces for the AMM that make it easier for the common person, right? And this is what you want. You don't want everybody to have to be a techie who can figure out how to do it, any sort of sophisticated level as far as the technical aspects. You don't want that for mass adoption. But the ability for mass adoption and for folks to easily be able to access this through the tools that the builders are putting together right now, right? Where on the Zaman wallet, you'll easily be able to do AMM, Orchestra Finance, and others are already working there to make it simple for the average XRP holder to say, yes, let's put my XRP to work. Yes, let's put my other issued asset on the XRP ledger to work, right? And the opportunity here to be able to hedge between two different tokens that you like, right? This is what I'm doing on Stellar. I got Stronghold and XLM and an AMM liquidity pool. And yeah, at times you got impermanent loss, but you just wait for it to balance back out and you just keep earning that yield, right? The whole time you're just earning that yield as you got two that are volatile, right? And when it's time to get paid back out, I'm going to transfer my liquidity pool tokens back to Stronghold and XLM. And so this is the beauty that we have here with the XRP ledger is you'll be able to add single-sided liquidity provisions, and then the AMM automatically cuts it in half and puts it into the other asset. So for example, if you want to add just your XRP to an XRP USD liquidity pool, you can do that. What it does is it immediately sells half your XRP for USD so that you can be evenly funded on both sides of that liquidity pool. And then you get liquidity pool tokens in return. And so you're going to be building up your yield, right? And then when it comes time, if you want to trade back out, you trade your liquidity pool tokens back to XRP or USD, right? And see, This is where you don't have to rely on these shady DeFi platforms. You don't have to rely on anybody, right? No middleman. This is true DeFi. This is what we set out to do, right? And think about this for, guys, this goes so much bigger than us making a little bit of money. And I'm not just talking about, I mean this. You got billions of people that are underbanked and unbanked completely. Now they'll have the ability, as long as they have that phone and that internet connection, to download these wallets, to buy some XRP, and to get an asset working for them. And to send a cross-border, to send a payment, right, without having to get killed by MoneyGram or Western Union or whatever the fees are. And these fees and all of that process, right, it has the most impact on the poor and the underbanked and the folks that aren't as well off, right? Where you're getting dinged for all these things, right? Now you get those folks access to wallets that are, decentralized. You get them access to an AMM spitting them out yield in a decentralized manner. This is what we actually set out to do in crypto. Now, I know that some folks are in this space to launch a meme token and put it on ETH, put it on Solana, put it on one of these other networks where meme coins are accepted. And I laugh at the folks that try to put crap on the XRP ledger, because the XRP ledger is the adults in the room. And we don't trade our reserve currency for any little JPEG that has a cute story. I'm sorry, we don't. And although some folks are deciding, oh, wow, we can't sell our crap here on the XRP ledger, meaning we can't dupe the XRP army to buy our crap, so we're going to go to Solana. Congratulations. That's a good business move, trying to sell the crap that you're trying to sell. I didn't mean to go this hard on them, but literally, that's what we're talking about. Let's be real and let's have a serious conversation. You're trying to sell crap to folks that think that their currency is a reserve currency. I'm not trading it unless it's, I have some intrinsic value. I have some fundamentals, right? So, folks, we are now just days away, right? Just in a few days here, AMM is going to be going live. We're already getting the updates. It looks like day one, we're going to be able to get going using Zaman, using some of these other platforms. Be very careful. I'm not saying to go all in. I'm not saying to do anything. I'm saying to learn about it. Learn about it and understand the impact that this is going to have, for folks across the world who are just trying to find a store of value. Not only do you have yourself a store of value, you're going to be able to get a little bit of yield too. Put it to work, And so this is why XRP comes back down, as I titled this episode. Yeah, XRP comes back down. What do? We buy, because the fundamentals are better than ever. And I asked the question, can you explain why XRP is not going to go to a new all-time high with fundamentals? No. All you have is recency bias. You're looking directly at the charts in front of you. You're looking at the last bull run. You forget what happened in 2017, 2018. Yeah, it's new. It's different this time. It absolutely is different this time. But still, although there's more coins in the space, the fundamentals and the utility for XRP are way better than they were back in 2017, 2018. XRP wasn't even listed on many exchanges back then. Now we're listed all over the place. Now we're going to have AMMs. Now we're going to have cross-chain bridges. We got a thriving ecosystem. Just within the last year, guys, the XRP ledger has grown so much. And I know I'm kind of talking on the tech a lot tonight, but it's because for the regular person who's looking at this thing, you got to understand this. Like, you don't have to understand the tech, like how to, how it all works. You just have to understand the implications of, we didn't have NFTs just 2 years ago. We finally got NFTs 2 years ago. We're finally getting an AMM. We haven't had any of these capabilities. All that we've had is, a fast, cheap, and efficient ledger for sending payments. And we've had a great story. We've had a great narrative, right? XRP is going to be a world reserve currency, as liquid as a G10 currency. We're going to put a dent in the universe. And we've seen that Ripple's been growing. And we watch XRP price. Oh my gosh, when's XRP ever going to grow? I firmly believe that our time is coming this year into next year as this bull run continues. This space is going to grow by trillions. We did 3 trillion last bull run. I think that we do 5 conservatively this bull run. And I do think that XRP is going to get a little piece of that. And the only thing that worries me with XRP is how quickly it's going to move. I don't worry about XRP going up in price. No, it's going to do that. And it did that last week. I worry about, are the exchanges going to work? Is my order going to go through? Are you guys even going to be able to sell your XRP? That's what I'm worried about. Are you guys going to be emotionally ready? Emotionally and mentally ready? There's going to be some tears of joy when we go back to all-time high. We're going to have ourselves a good time. No pain, no gain. We definitely had some pain. And that's why I say, with the most respect and the most sympathy for how tough it's out, how tough it is out there. But there's a difference between getting punched and getting back up. And there's a difference between whining, crying, running with your tail tucked between your legs and giving up. And so to the XRP community, I say, hang in there. I say, remind yourself of the fundamentals. That's what we're here to do on a daily basis. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe, hit that notification bell. Precious metals, other parts of our portfolio moving. And this is why we've positioned ourselves really well for this moment right now, right? Stocks, crypto come back down last week. What did gold do? Closed out the week at 2,150. What did silver do? Closed off the week at $25. Still have a long ways to go. Just like XRP pumping up to about 74, 75 cents last week, still has a long ways to go. But it's showing you what's coming. Showing you what's coming. So hang in there. Today's price is the worst indicator of future fundamental value. Please understand that. It's no indicator of future fundamental value, today's price. It's one data point that you can put into your thesis, today's price action. But we are moving with the broader space. We'll see if that breaks away. And the main question will be, can the exchanges handle the liquidity? Please make sure that you have options. I have a couple exchanges listed at my website. If you want to use them, you can. We have precious metals as well. And we also have our Patreon Discord community. It's all available at my website, zachrector.com. We're going to continue to bring the community resources. We're going to continue to bring the value, whether this market goes up or down. We're not afraid to tell it like it is. I appreciate all of you guys who stopped by for listening to this hour-long rant tonight. It's really been a good time. I see that we got 2,377 people watching us between Twitter and YouTube. Massive session tonight. Massive momentum behind our community. Don't hang around the negativity. Don't be caught up. Don't allow these whiners and complainers to get you caught up and stop you from building and making moves. This is our time. Nothing will stop what is coming. And I do believe that is an all-time high for XRP and maybe a little bit more. And so let's enjoy the journey. I know that it's been a bumpy ride, okay? But we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Come May, this case wrapping up. And then we wait for Judge Torres' ruling. We proceed, we rock and roll with a massive amount of utility going into this bull run. We couldn't be better positioned, okay? So don't be distracted too much by Mickey Mouse meme coin pumps. If you make your money that way, God bless you. I love to see it. But everybody's coming back to fundamentals. Everybody's looking for real value. And I think that we found it. Okay. I appreciate everyone for stopping by here tonight. I will see you guys in the next one. We'll have more content dropping tomorrow morning. God bless you all. Thank you so much.